I have gained so much. It always just goes the wrong way for me. I've lost just over 5 stone. Hair can fall out. Food noise going around in my head. Those blockages, some loose skin, and it will definitely help you lose weight. Hey, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura and I've lost just over 5 stone in 6 months on Mounjaro. I wanted to film a video all about my experience, my tips and tricks, my do's, my don'ts, pros, the cons, the must-haves, and everything in between. I guess I should introduce firstly why I'm on Mounjaro. Ever since I can remember, I've been the fat one. The turning point when I started feeling fat was when I was probably about 7 and I did ballet, and I quit ballet because I didn't like looking at myself in the mirror because I was bigger than everybody else. Since then, on and off, I have tried to lose weight. I was at Slimming World when I was about 12. I did like a fasting diet. I've done all the fad diets. I've tried all the ways. I've been consistent in the gym, calorie deficit, healthy eating, and it always just goes a bit. I had an appointment with a doctor back probably about 8 months ago now, and they told me I need to lose weight. I'm at high risk of heart disease, stroke. My blood pressure was through the roof. I was so unhealthy, crippling back pain, really bad knee pain, so exhausted all the time. And that conversation with that doctor was the turning point for me. Now at this point, NHS doctors weren't able to just prescribe it. I asked him, what is your opinion on Mounjaro? Because I've been thinking about maybe giving it a go. And he said, I can't recommend, but it works for a lot of people and it will definitely help you lose weight. If you want to give it a go, go for it. And I thought, gonna give it a go, it's my last chance. When I was like 18, 19, I kind of thought it was inevitable that I would get bariatric surgery. So I would get a gastric balloon, a sleeve, a band, whatever it might be. And I'm so happy that I was able to find something a little less permanent. So the elephant in the room is how much I weighed before I started. Now I'm 5'9", I was 21 stone and a size 22. I'm now still 5'9", but I'm 16 stone and a size 14. And even just saying that right now is absolutely incredible because I cannot believe that I've lost that much weight in 6 months. It's absolutely crazy to me. And although there are side effects of Mounjaro, and it doesn't agree with some people, it was amazing for me and it has absolutely changed my life. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, but what actually is Mounjaro? What does it do? Mounjaro doesn't burn fat. Mounjaro doesn't reduce weight. Mounjaro is a GLP-1 medication that interacts with the hormone receptor in your brain, essentially turning off your hunger cues. So I don't very often get hungry. I don't feel hungry. I don't feel the urge to binge eat. I don't have a constant thing in my head like, what's next for food? What am I having for dinner? What am I doing for this? What am I doing for that? And that was a big thing for me because I comfort ate a lot. And that's why I found dieting so hard, because I would just cave and I would just go and binge eat something. Mounjaro also slows down your digestion, so food stays in your stomach a little bit longer, making you feel fuller for longer. And it is literally as simple as that. I will leave some links below to write-ups of exactly clinically what Mounjaro is and what it does, but that's the general idea of what Mounjaro is. Mounjaro is a brand name of Tirzepatide, that's the drug name. And typically in the UK, it comes in a pen. This here is my 10mg pen. This is my last one that I used. Now, one of those pens gives you 4 doses. You take 1 dose per week. You have a 2.5, a 5, a 7.5, a 10, a 12.5, and a 15mg dose. Everybody starts on 2.5mg. You're supposed to be on each dose for at least 4 weeks. You can elongate this if you think it's still working well and you feel suppressed, you're still losing weight. There's no need to go up to the next dose. So some people might stay on 2.5 for months and months and months until the effects start wearing off and then they go up to 5. Some people might decide they're going on each dose for a month and then they stay at 15 until they feel ready to come off of it. A lot of people ask, once you get to your goal weight, what happens then? Do you stop taking it and do you gain it all back? Well, that's up to you. You have to change your eating habits. So you can't go back to binge eating a load of chocolate because of course you're going to gain the weight back. If you don't feel like you've got enough willpower yourself to keep the weight off, you can go on a maintenance dose. Now, that's when a pharmacy will drop your dose down to a maintenance dose to hopefully make you maintain weight. And you can stay on that then for as long as you're allowed to. You can also wean yourself off of it. So you might be up at 15, you might go back down to 12.5 for a month, then 10, then 7.5, and so on until you're completely off of the medication. Or you can just come off it cold turkey and give it your best shot. It's completely personal preference. I am not yet at my goal weight, so I don't know what I'm going to do, but I feel like I will probably go onto a maintenance dose to begin with. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about my side effects on Mounjaro. I do feel fatigued. That is something I live with and I do struggle with every single day. I haven't yet found something to keep me more alive, but that is something I will live with for a medication that is quite literally changing my life. When I first started my Mounjaro journey, I did suffer with headaches also, and I really think those were helped by taking the vitamins that I take, which I'll tell you a little bit about later on in the video. I've also suffered some hair loss. I've also suffered some constipation, and earlier in my journey, I did suffer upper abdominal pain. Now, there are many side effects, some very minor, some slightly more serious, that you can potentially get when taking Mounjaro. Definitely have a look into that. Again, I will leave a link down below. That will then tell you all about all of the different side effects that you can get when taking Mounjaro. Okay, pros and cons. The pros are my life doesn't revolve around food noise anymore. I don't constantly think about food. I'm not scared to eat food because I'm getting chubby, but then still eating it. I've obviously lost weight and I'm a lot healthier now. It is a brilliant tool to help you in your weight loss journey. Now, the cons, I would say some of the more serious side effects would be a con. I haven't experienced any of them personally, but I know that some people do. So it is a risk. Everything is a risk. Weight loss surgery is a risk. But for me, it was a risk worth taking. And for me, that risk did pay off very well. Another con would be a lot of people don't see it as an achievement. No matter how you lose weight, it is still an achievement. You have obstacles with bariatric surgery. We have obstacles with Mounjaro. You have obstacles with a calorie deficit, keto, Slimming World, Weight Watchers, fasting, whatever it might be that you're doing, there are obstacles in every single different sort of diet. I guess another con would be having to inject yourself every week. Obviously, if you're scared of needles, if you've got a needle phobia, it might not be the best thing for you. I personally don't mind. It is absolutely tiny. It does not hurt one bit, but that could be seen as a con for some people. Now I'm going to talk about what I've gained and what I've lost since taking Mounjaro. I have gained so much confidence in myself. I cannot believe how good it's made me feel to be doing something healthy and good to my body, which is losing the weight. I have gained a body that I love, that I do treat as a temple because it walks me places every single day. I have gained so much food freedom. I am not constantly having food noise going around in my head all the time. I can actually think about other things that don't involve food, which is crazy for me because that's never been the case. I've also gained my jaw back, which is just insane because I used to look like the human earthworm. We're far away from a finish line with that, but it's an improvement. And to date, I have lost 82 pounds since February. And I feel like that's my biggest and most bestest loss. Whilst you're on Mounjaro, taking supplements is such a necessary thing. When you're not eating as much as usual, the days where you can barely eat anything at all, you need to still make sure you're getting those vitamins and minerals and the nutrients that your body needs inside of you. So I'm gonna have a little chat through all of the things that I've been taking whilst on my Mounjaro journey to help me. I will link all of these vitamins below so that you can literally directly go and buy them from that link. For a multivitamin, the WellGuard My Journey. I swear by it. It was designed for people who are all on the journey that we're talking about right now. And it is absolutely packed with all the essential vitamins and minerals that you need. It is the perfect all-rounder multivitamin at a very affordable price. If you were going to go for any supplement, I would 100% go for a multivitamin. The next thing is a probiotic. That is so key in this journey as well. As I told you earlier, Mounjaro slows down your digestion, but we don't want the digestion to come to a complete halt. That can cause blockages, that can cause constipation. So make sure you're taking a probiotic for your gut health. I use the WellGuard Gut Star probiotic, which I've used ever since the start and I'm obsessed with it. When I've forgotten to take it, that's when my constipation hits, or that's when my diarrhea hits. When I take it consistently every single morning, I am absolutely perfect and I do not have any of those symptoms. This might not be the same for everybody, but for me, Gut Star has absolutely changed the game with my toileting habits. My next must-have is biotin. Now, I use the biotin and iron gummies by WellGuard, and I stopped taking biotin for a while because I thought, is it really working? My hair all started falling out. I've now started taking biotin again, and I feel like not so much of my hair is coming out now, which is incredible. Unfortunately, one thing with Mounjaro is your hair can fall out. Obviously, you are getting a lack of nutrients because you are eating less. Now, your hair sucks up a lot of nutrients, so it sheds. It sheds the hair because it doesn't want to give the nutrients to your hair. It wants it to give it to your body so that your body can still function. And that's why you lose your hair. Now, a lot of us will be deficient in iron and need biotin. So biotin is so key for preventing hair loss during Mounjaro. I still do have some bald spots right here, but hopefully it will be growing back soon. I will never not take biotin again. My next absolute essential, electrolytes. Now there's a few different sorts of electrolytes that I like. I love the WellGuard electromite, I love the Vidrate sachets, and I love the Humantra sachets. This is elderberry by Humantra and I'm absolutely obsessed. Now, if you're having diarrhea or you're vomiting or you're struggling to get enough water in, an electrolyte is so necessary because it keeps you hydrated. If you vomit, you're losing a lot of water. If you have diarrhea, again, you're losing a lot of water. Now, we should be aiming on Mounjaro to drink 3 litres a day to ensure that our bodies have enough water inside of it. If one day you can't get to that, have an electrolyte. If one day you have really bad diarrhea, take an electrolyte. If one day you're vomiting super bad, take an electrolyte. So necessary. Half of the time when I've got a headache, it's due to being dehydrated. Pop one of those bad boys, half an hour, a headache, it's flying away. It's flying away. Now, I suffered majorly bad with constipation throughout my whole journey. And one thing alongside a probiotic that's really helped is fibre gummies. I use the WellGuard fibre gummies and they have changed my life. Chew 3 of them a day and I swear, constipation no longer. They are amazing. I don't know what's in them. Well, it's fibre that's in them, but they are insane. Now, some other supplements and vitamins that I would recommend, but that aren't essential, firstly would be collagen. When you're losing weight, you can get loose skin. I have some loose skin, not as much as I thought I would have though. Under here, I say chub, really it is kind of skin, maybe a little bit of fat there, but more so skin. I have some on my inner thighs as well, and the tiniest little bit on my tummy, but barely at all. Now, I've taken collagen throughout most of my journey. I use, again, the WellGuard collagen, and this is essential for your skin's elasticity. As we get older, our skin stops producing collagen. So when we're losing weight and we're getting older and we have no collagen, our skin's elasticity is screwed. So by just taking some collagen, it promotes your skin to hopefully shrink a little bit back to what it was. I'm not saying you're not gonna have any loose skin. It's definitely gonna lessen the odds of you getting so much loose skin. A couple of others that I'd recommend is for bloating, apple cider vinegar gummies are amazing. Vitamin B12 is also absolutely great if you're feeling really tired. There is so many vitamins that you could take. You definitely don't need them all. I would say stick to the essentials. And if you have any of the issues like loose skin or constipation or bloating, you can always go out and get those other ones after. Another thing that you need to ensure that you're taking in is protein. Protein is so essential for losing weight, and that also keeps you fuller for longer. So it's going to really support Mounjaro in suppressing your appetite. Sometimes it can just be hard to eat. Some days you're not going to hit your daily calories. No matter how many people say you need to hit your calories, some days you're just not going to, and that's okay. But you need to work your best to get as many and get as close to that count as you can. There's a couple of different protein powders that I use to get protein in when I'm not feeling hungry or I feel like I haven't got enough protein in that day. They're all by My Protein. I love the clear ways and I also love the chocolate regular way. They are absolutely stunning. But yeah, protein powder has saved me a lot of times when I haven't got enough protein in or I haven't been able to eat, just to get something into me, because drinking your calories can sometimes be a lot easier than eating them. And this kind of leads on to the next thing I want to talk about, is what did I eat on Mounjaro? Overall, I've tried to have a very healthy and balanced diet all the way through. I haven't deprived myself. I have still had a takeaway. I've still had a McDonald's. I've still had a KFC. I know, shoot me. But it's so important to have a healthy, balanced diet because it means it's sustainable. Because if you go down to maintenance dose, or if you wean yourself off, or if you decide to come off cold turkey, how are you gonna maintain it if you haven't had a McDonald's? Are you telling me you're never gonna have a McDonald's for the rest of your life? Because I think you're lying. I've eaten so many takeaways and I've still lost 5 stone. There you go, I said it. I do not calorie count. Never have, never will. Doesn't work for me. I get too obsessed. I intuitively eat. I know what's healthy. I know roughly what calories are in things, but I'm not gonna count and weigh broccoli. It's just not gonna happen. That's a personal preference. Calorie counting really helps some people. For me, it would become obsessive and unhealthy, so I just never have. I have fully just stuck to a healthy and balanced diet. If you guys would like to see maybe what I eat in a week and then what I lose at the end of the week, then do let me know, because I would love to do that. Anyway, I asked over on my TikTok what questions you guys would have and what you'd like to be answered. So I'm gonna go through some of these questions and answer them all for you now. Make sure you wait to the end for all the best tips and tricks. Okay, so Annie asked, what was my favorite dose? I'm gonna say my favorite dose was either 2.5 or 7.5. 2.5 was insane for me. Suppression was brilliant. And after 4 weeks, I moved up to 5 because I thought that was what I had to do. Little did I know I didn't have to move up, but I would have stayed on 2.5 for longer because as soon as I went up to 5, it was nowhere near as good. And 7.5, I lost a decent amount of weight on 7.5. That was when I hit a lot of my milestones, and hey, it worked a treat. I was suppressed. Best ways to maximize your results. Exercising. So I started off going to the gym probably for about 4 weeks, and then I haven't been to the gym since. I do have a dog. I take her on a walk for about an hour every morning. I do try to be as active as possible. I usually take her for half an hour in the evening now as well. I am not an exercisey person. It's going to maximize the losses, of course it is, and it's going to make gains. But for me, the gym, I'm not quite there yet. Where did you purchase this from? For my journey, personally, I used MedExpress and Get Weightless. The next question is, what did I lose on 2.5 milligram? Now, I was only on this for 4 weeks, and I think I lost about 1.5 stone in my first month. My first week, I actually lost 10 pounds, but a lot of that would have been water weight because there is pretty much no way you can lose 10 pounds of fat in a week. But that's why my loss for the first month was so high. The next question is how to lose belly fat. Now, let me tell you, you cannot fat spot. No matter what you do, you will never ever be able to say, I want to lose weight from my belly right now. Unfortunately, weight comes off wherever it comes off, and you can't decide where you're going to lose it from. Now, sometimes bloating can look like you've got a fat tummy. So you can use a greens powder. I love the Bloom greens powder. That's been insane. Also, apple cider vinegar gummies can really help with bloating as well. And also the probiotics. Now, somebody asked me, does the jab hurt? Now, I'm going to show you how tiny the needle is. So this is the needle. You just pop it on the top of your pen like that, screw on. This is how big the needle is. I don't know if you can see that, but it is absolutely tiny. Now, this is actually an empty pen. It's just got a little bit left in there for priming. They call it the golden dose, but I just think it's a little bit risky. If you would like me to do a little bit more of an in-depth jab with me video, then I would be sure to do that. I know how scared I was the first time I ever did it, and I really wish I could watch all of these videos before that. I was so nervous of the injection, and watching all the jab with me videos really, really helped. I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot. Before I go, I really want to quickly talk about Plateau. Now, sometimes when you're on a normal diet or on a GLP-1 medication like Mounjaro, you can hit a plateau, and that's where you just don't lose weight for a few weeks. Maybe you're doing nothing different. Now, this can be down to a few things. If you're a woman, your period can impact how much you lose. You can come up heavier on your period. It's just the way of life. Now, sometimes upping your calories or eating a little bit more for a few days and then coming back down can kind of shock your system and get you to lose weight again. Drinking more water, incorporating the electrolytes, that can really help with shifting a plateau. Upping your exercise can also help getting you out of a plateau. It is a way of life. You're bound to hit a plateau at some point, but don't be disheartened because we've all been through it. I have probably not answered even half of the questions that you guys have got in this video, so I may have to make a Q&A as a part 2. But I really hope that gave you a bit of an insight as to what Mounjaro is, and if you were on the fence about it, or you've just started it, or you weren't too sure, I hope that this maybe helped you a little bit. I will leave the links to all of the products that I mentioned down below in the description box. I'll also leave a link to my TikTok where I post lots of little videos about Mounjaro and fashion and beauty and stuff like that all the time. So you can see little tips and tricks on Mounjaro and how I'm getting on over there. I have a £40 discount code, and I have 2 discount codes to 2 different providers. I will also leave these linked down below so that you can go and have a little look. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you're on a Mounjaro journey, good luck. If you're thinking about starting a Mounjaro journey, then make sure you do your research. And again, good luck. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.